Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Tina Tyus Shaw. Georgia Governor Brian Kemp and health officials are holding a press briefing on the state's response to COVID-19. Here's the governor now with his remarks from Atlanta.
To continue our fight against this dangerous virus and allow for enhanced emergency response efforts, I have twice used my authority to renew the state of emergency. And today, after consultation with Lieutenant Governor Duncan and Speaker Ralston, I've decided to renew the state of emergency for a third time through 11:59 p.m. on July 12, 2020. This declaration, as you know, plays a critical, important role in our battle against coronavirus. It allows for enhanced partnerships between the private and public sectors for our healthcare infrastructure, procurement of supplies, and coordination across all levels of government. As we continue to take measured steps forward, the public health state of emergency provides flexibility for a cohesive response across government and within our communities across the state. Over the past few months, we have seen frontline workers, law enforcement, teachers, business owners, elected officials, community leaders, and hardworking Georgians from every corner of our state join together in this fight. Now, with enhanced testing capacity and encouraging data, we are seeing a slow, careful transition to a new normal. Already, several state agencies have begun to phase into limited in-person operations, and the legislature, as you know, is making plans to return to the state capitol to resume the legislative session. Across the Peach State, businesses are reopening their doors with robust safety precautions in place, and customers are slowly but surely returning. This progress is encouraging as we fight to stop the spread and revive our economy. But the status quo is never acceptable. We cannot rest on our laurels. From day one of this journey, we have used data, science, and the advice of healthcare professionals like Dr. Toomey to chart our path forward. Our next step, like the ones before, puts the health and well-being of the citizenry first. Today, I signed a new executive order to extend specific safety precautions, outline guidance for overnight summer camps and summer school, and outline important rules for reopening shuttered businesses. The shelter-in-place order for Georgians who are 65 and older or medically fragile will continue through June the 12th, 2020, with exceptions for necessary activities including work, medical appointments, grocery shopping, home health services, and related categories. I want to thank all of those who have followed this advice and for those who have helped the vulnerable loved ones navigate these difficult times that they have in their lives. In this executive order, we strongly encourage all Georgians and visitors to wear face coverings in public to help mitigate viral spread. And restrictions remain intact for nearly every Georgia business to keep employees and their customers safe. For several weeks now, gatherings of more than 10 people in a single location have been banned in Georgia unless there is 6 feet between each person. Given favorable data and relying on Dr. Toomey's advice, we feel comfortable incrementally increasing that number to 25. That means starting June the 1st, 2020, you can have gatherings of more than 25 people in a single location if you have at least 6 feet between each person. Small weddings, recreational sports, and similar events will be able to resume with a little more flexibility, but we are continuing to ask everyone to remain vigilant. Please continue to follow the public health advice as you engage in these activities. Wash your hands, keep your distance, wear a mask if possible, and let's continue to protect the medically fragile and the elderly. At this time, live performance venues will remain closed. I know that these closures are tough on business owners and their employees. but we will continue to watch the data to ensure the health and safety of our citizens. I will tell you that we are working closely with those business owners, associations, and stakeholders as we prepare for the future. Starting May the 31st, 2020, overnight summer camps are permitted in Georgia if they meet 33 specific criteria for reopening, in addition to the requirements for operating a non-critical infrastructure business. Starting June 1st, 2020, bars and nightclubs can decide to reopen if they comply with strict sanitation and social distancing rules, all crafted to reflect industry practices and mitigate health risk. To open their doors, bars and nightclubs must meet 39 mandatory measures to ensure patron well-being. And just to name a few of these, they include screening workers for illness, limiting the number of people in the building to 25 people or 35% of total occupancy, requiring the facility to be thoroughly and regularly sanitized, only serving drinks to seated patrons or those in designated areas, limiting party size to 6 people, and preventing patrons from congregating. To provide clarity for banquet facilities, private event facilities, and private reception venues, we are adding them to the same category as restaurants and dine-in services so that they have clear directives for operating. This change will help as these facilities reschedule important events for families, especially weddings, in the coming weeks. My executive order specifically addresses the return of amateur as well as professional sports. Starting June 1st, professional sports teams and organizations which engage in practices or other in-person operations must operate by the rules or guidelines of their respective sports league. In addition, all amateur sports that continue in-person operation must follow the guidelines for non-critical infrastructure organizations. Many school districts have reached out for guidance on holding summer school. I want to specifically thank Superintendent Woods and his team for helping us develop appropriate safeguards for educational leaders as they plan for their students' return. Starting next month, schools and districts can hold summer school for students if they comply with 11 mandatory criteria. That includes screening workers and students for illness to prevent viral spread, enhancing campus sanitation, encouraging regular hand washing and hygiene, and keeping students separated to minimize exposure. We know firsthand how important it is for some students to be able to return to campus for in-person instruction, and these measures will accomplish that goal without compromising safety. Operators of amusement park rides, traveling carnivals, water parks, circuses, and other temporary amusement rides shall not begin operation until June the 12th, 2020. To open at that time, they must comply with 33 mandatory requirements, in addition to all the requirements for non-critical infrastructure businesses. We want to thank and say that we are grateful for the guidance that we have received from the stakeholders to develop these rules and prepare for future reopenings. As we have said for many weeks now, one of the most critical battlegrounds in our fight against this virus remains in our long-term care facilities, specifically nursing homes. Over the last several weeks, the Georgia National Guard has worked closely with public health officials and the Department of Community Health to test nursing home residents and staff. Right now, 48% of all COVID-19 deaths in Georgia are connected to long-term care facilities. The earlier we test, the earlier we can intervene and try to prevent severe outcomes. As of yesterday afternoon, we've tested 66% of nursing home residents and 36% of all staff. That is in addition to the nearly 2,000 infection control missions conducted with more than 900 facilities receiving 2 or more mission visits. This is a top priority for us as we continue to work around the clock to protect our most vulnerable, and we will continue to do everything in our power to keep these Georgians safe. Since we began the rapid increase of our testing capacity in mid-April, we continue to remind the public and those in the media, the more that we test, the more cases that we will see. That is especially true with our efforts to test high-risk populations like we've been doing in our nursing homes. The multiple public-private partnerships around testing that were created in a matter of weeks to fight this pandemic have exponentially increased our testing capacity. But the nature of COVID-19 testing and reporting can sometimes lead to delays in mass reporting of results. Dr. Toomey and her team at Public Health continue to work with our private sector partners to streamline these new processes and ensure our testing data is timely as well as accurate. Starting next week, Public Health will move to a daily 3 p.m. update on the COVID-19 website. This change will give them more time to coordinate with healthcare facilities and providers to verify information and check its accuracy before publication. We remain encouraged by the numbers that we are seeing in testing, hospitalizations, and a wide variety of other data points across the state. We are also encouraged by the new treatment being rolled out for patients in Georgia in partnership with the Trump administration. This week, the Department of Public Health would distribute over 18,000 vials of remdesivir to 85 hospitals across Georgia. This shipment will enable these facilities to treat roughly 1,670 patients. I greatly appreciate the President and the Vice President and the rest of the administration for their continued support with critical supplies like remdesivir as we continue to fight the invisible enemy together. Speaking of the Trump administration, we had a call this week with the Vice President and the nation's governors to discuss how states are moving to safely reopen their economies and get Americans working again. We also had a very productive call with Admiral Polufchek and GEMA Director Bryson to ensure Georgia continues to receive the critical supplies as we take measured steps forward in our reopening process. And just this afternoon, we received some fantastic news from the President. He will be extending full federal funding of the National Guard activities through mid-August. That authorization was set to expire next month, and as you know, the 3,000 men and women currently deployed in the Georgia National Guard have been absolutely vital to our fight against COVID-19. They have helped deliver millions of pounds of food to students and Georgians in need, and they've been the backbone of our testing program, as well as doing life-saving work in our nursing homes and long-term care facilities. And I want to thank the President for this. There was many governors across the country that were asking for this extension, and he has listened to them, and we are grateful. This is a huge help to our state's ongoing war against this invisible enemy. As I've said many times before, the level of access and responsiveness from the President, the Vice President, and the Trump administration, in my opinion, is unprecedented. And that has been a huge benefit to our state as we combat this virus. Before I turn it over for questions, I did want to mention a couple of other important items. First, we continue to lag behind, as I mentioned the other day, in our 2020 census count. The form only takes a few minutes to fill out. So I want to continue to encourage all Georgians to take the time and get it completed. This initiative literally shapes the future of our state, so we need as many Georgians taking part as possible, and we continue to have a long way to go to meet our goals.
As Governor Brian Kemp continues his press briefing on the state's response to COVID-19, you can listen to more of his remarks on WSAV.com. I want to recap for you now some things that the governor mentioned and really highlighting his executive order and some changes that will occur. The governor says that the public health state of emergency has been renewed for the third time since the pandemic began. So the state of emergency will now run through 11:59 p.m. July 12th. And the governor went on to talk about the enhanced testing, and he says that we are seeing some changes in terms of getting back to the new normal, but the progress, while it is encouraging, he does say that we need to continue to stay ahead in this fight and work hard to revive the economy here in Georgia. Now, here are some major takeaways as we will begin to see some openings in the very near future. The governor says on June 1st, gatherings can be more than 25 people as long as they are 6 feet apart. And this is also small weddings included and other events that are similar. He says that the stay-at-home order will continue for the elderly and also those medically fragile, and that goes until June 6th. The governor mentioned live performances. Those venues will remain closed at this time. And by May 31st, or on May 31st, overnight camps can resume under special guidelines. June 1st, bars and nightclubs can reopen, and you will have to, of course, comply with safety rules. And the governor mentioned screening of workers and also limiting at least 25 people in those establishments at a time. Starting June 1st, professional sports teams can operate under the sports league's guidelines. And June 1st as well, he mentioned amateur sports in that category. And next month, the school system can begin all across the state having summer school, but they want to make sure that you comply with about 11 mandatory guidelines. So that will be outlined on the governor's website, and we'll link you to that on WSAV.com. When it comes to amusement parks, the governor says that those amusement parks can open beginning June 20th under special guidelines. He also mentioned the fact that 48% of COVID-19 cases in Georgia are connected to long-term health care facilities, and perhaps that is why the governor is pushing that stay-at-home order for nursing homes and those long-term care facilities, and that will continue long into June. That is it right now on WSAV. We will return you to your regularly scheduled programming. However, we will have the very latest on the governor's press briefing coming up on First News at 5. And again, as he begins to answer questions from reporters, you can check out that and more remarks from the governor on WSAV.com.